The Pixel 7 and 7 Pro stand for hope. And yes, that's a very cliche reference from Superman. There's no giant S logo on the phone. There's in the thumbnail, of course. But when it comes to the phone itself, the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro were really, really exciting. Like when they first came out, everybody was really excited about them, talking about phone of the year potential and revolutionary changes, changed the camera design, new camera after so many years, new design on the phone, new design language, bigger screen, 120 hertz refresh rate. There was so much promise here. Promise. So if the Pixel 6s were promise, the Pixel 7s are now hope of that promise fulfilled. Because I think a lot of people really feel like there was a lot left out on the table in the actual experience once the Pixel 6 hit the road. Now, I know there's a lot of people that really, really love the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro and think that they're phenomenal devices and have had a great experience. And I largely think that. I mean, I've had a really good experience with mine. I thankfully didn't suffer from a lot of the major issues that some people suffered from. However, it left a stain on the reputation of Google and also their flagship series phones. Even the non-flagship series, the Pixel 6a, launching with a fingerprint sensor that can be unlocked with other people's fingers in some instances, which we're still waiting on a patch for, and the phone came out over a month and a half ago about. So there have been some problems in Google land, and the Pixel 7 is a clean slate. It's a clean slate and a fresh start. A lot of stigma around the original Tensor chip, which everybody still says is a Samsung Exynos chip. It is not. It is done in collaboration with Samsung. They use the same plant to make them, but when you actually look at the chip itself, there is a lot of fundamental differences, the way they're designed, the cores, the core designs are even different. Typically, when you have a smartphone chipset, there's one primary core. So when we have these flagship chips, they're 8 cores. You'll have one primary core that's like 2.8 gigahertz, 3 gigahertz, whatever. And then you'll have your mid-range cores, and then you'll have your low power efficiency cores. Well, the Google Tensor chip, one of the reasons it gets so hot is because it has 2 primary cores. So 2 of them instead of 1, which is a very big change from how things are done in the chip language. So for the argument that it's a Samsung chip, it's not. It's designed by Google, it's made by Samsung, it's made at the Samsung plant, which never really is a good indicator. I'm going to throw that one out there. Samsung does not have a good history of making chips. So I don't know why Google's done this. I wish that they would just start their own chip plant. It's not like they're like the 3rd most valuable company on the planet or anything like that. It's not like they're worth almost $1 trillion. This is the thing that's frustrating with Google because they're rich AF. Like they have so much money and they don't throw that money and that expertise full throttle into making the most amazing smartphone experience possible. You would not expect these issues to have happened with the people who actually make Android, right? If I said, you know what, the Google phone that is made, Google makes Android, if I predicted last year they would have the buggiest, most messed up phone of the year, as opposed to Samsung, as opposed to Apple, as opposed to Sony, as opposed to OnePlus, you would be like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And, well, that's what happened. So, the Pixel 7, a lot of people are placing a lot of hope on this phone. I'm placing hope in this phone, and I'm sure there's going to be 1 or 2 things. Probably when the phone launches, there will be 1 or 2 things where people will be like, oh, yep, Google messed up again. And then, of course, that will probably largely paint the narrative in a negative context because, well, LG's not here anymore to bully, and OnePlus is largely kind of given up the position that they were largely chasing for so long to be the 3rd largest phone manufacturer in the US. So it's funny. When you look at the phones, Apple does not get a certain level of scrutiny. Samsung gets a lot of scrutiny, but it can withstand it because they're the biggest and they're the best, air quotes, and a lot of people really love Samsung. We have the Samsung Knights. We have the Apple Sheep, the iSheep, the Apple fanboys. We have we don't even really have names for the other ones. I think I affectionately called the Pixel Super Ultra fanboys the Pixel Illuminati. I don't know if that's ever going to stick. Who knows? Maybe I'll get t-shirts made one day, the Pixel Illuminati. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll get a special shirt made for Tech Odyssey. Maybe it'll be the Tech Odyssey Pixel Illuminati. I don't know. Let me know if you'd be interested in something like that, and maybe I can make it happen at some point. But the Pixel 7, clean slate, Tensor 2 chip, some slight changes to the build. We've seen some new colors floating around out there. And, of course, they're changing the back with the camera module to where it's like a more polished metal look so the cameras stand out more. Some people like that. I actually got a mixed bag of feedback in the comments on the last video. I kind of like it, but also I kind of don't like it. I think that this the straight up RoboCop visor, I think it looks more professional instead of having like the little oval cutouts for the cameras, but it does stand out more. And of course, most people, when you talk about the most synonymous feature with a Pixel phone, it's the camera. So they want to highlight that and have it stand out better. So looking forward to what we can expect, I'm hoping, is a much better experience. And here's the other two-pronged thing. Google is always going to fail the most first when it comes to any version of Android that comes out because they're the first ones. It's not like, hey guys, here's Android 13 and magically Samsung has it. They're in beta right now. Pixel is in the official launch build. So yeah, if you're going to encounter any problems, it's going to be eyes on Google first. Now, I do applaud and appreciate the fact that they got Android 13 out like that to replace Android 12, because Android 12, it seemed like, was a never-ending spaghetti bowl mess, if you're familiar with programming discussion language. A spaghetti bowl of problems. It just could not seem to unwind all of the issues that were, well, crumbled up together and get it fixed properly. So Android 13, to me, is kind of like Android 12.5. It comes in, not a lot of fundamental changes, but on the back end, it should have a lot better support, especially for the Tensor chip, since this is their second generation. And yes, I probably maybe should have been more wary with the first Tensor chip. I mean, one, knowing Google, knowing Samsung, knowing Android, I probably should have said, you know what, maybe we should be more cautious. This is a new thing from Google. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't have enough Dr. Pepper that morning when I made the video. Who knows? Not enough ginger ale in my diet that day. Talking about the Pixel 7 though, I think the Tensor 2 chip is going to be much better. I think it's going to offer a more stable experience. I think it's going to be, hopefully, the biggest things they need to fix are the heat and the battery drain and the standby issues, because those are the three issues that have plagued the chip. The other thing that needs to be fixed and has to really show some significant improvements is a modem. The modem in the Pixel 6 has been less than inspiring when it comes to water cooler conversation for certain. It's not something like, oh yeah, the Pixel 6 modem, it's so good, I have the best signal everywhere. Well, it was plagued with signal problems from the get-go, and even still, on paper, if you match up the modem in the Pixel 6 versus what's in the latest Snapdragon 8, 8 Plus Generation 1, night and day difference on the metrics and the performance models, the Pixel 6 modem is not that great. It's okay, it's serviceable, some people it works perfectly fine, but it's not on the same level of its competitors. So, gotta fix the modem, gotta fix the heat issues, the battery standby stuff, and I think largely, if they could do those things and shore up those areas, and they've already hopefully eliminated the software problems by getting out ahead of it 2 months before the phone launches, hopefully that gives us hope for a pristine experience once the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro are here, and then we can all rejoice and live in a land where ideally the phone works the way it's intended to, and it's impressive and it works well, and it's not convincing people to go buy iPhones. There have been a lot of comments I've gotten over the last year saying, this is the worst phone I ever bought. I'm going to iPhone, I'm going to Samsung, I don't trust the Pixel phone, I'll wait for the Pixel 8, I'm not buying a Pixel 7, I'm waiting 6 months to see what happens. These are all real life comments that I've gotten in my videos talking about the Pixel 6. So, and I don't blame anyone. If you had some of those serious problems, I know some people are like, oh, I'm on like my 4th Pixel 6, I keep sending it back and I get a new one, and it works the same way. So, I know there's probably some sort of bias implicit there with some people who just believe that the phone is flawed, but there are flawed phones. There's no getting around that, and largely most people are having a good experience. I mean, there are. I think mostly that's the experience for most people. However, even still, I have the frustrating issue with my keyboard haptic feedback being utterly terrible on my Pixel 6 Pro that they changed for no reason last month. So, we'll see how it goes. I think that's probably the best thing to say right now. So, that's all I've got wrapping this one up. We'll see what happens. Pixel 7 next month, a couple short weeks away, and we'll see what all the excitement's about. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, please go down to the comment section. I will get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.